Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear viewers. I am Dr. Noshin Afshan and you are watching Dr. Noshin Afshan YouTube. I hope that all of you would be fine and I am thankful to you for watching this video. To watch more videos, please subscribe my channel and press bell icon. So now let's begin. So our today's lecture is about nomenclature of heterocycles. In the first lecture, we have seen Huntsman-Widman nomenclature. And now, in this video lecture, we will focus on a set of rules according to that system of nomenclature. But as a name of the parent compound, that is either it is 5-membered or 6-membered system, that would be based on the lecture number 1. That whatever we have studied in that lecture, the parent name would be taken from previous lecture. So now the next rule is the systems have with a less degree of unsaturation. Means, for example, like this ring, as this heterocycle is not the completely saturated one, because here their 4 positions are the unsaturated ones, but here 1, 2 and 3, these 3 positions are saturated ones. So in this case, we may say that it has a lesser degree of unsaturation. So such systems with a lesser degree of unsaturation would require an appropriate prefix in the form of dihydro, trihydro, tetrahydro, depending on the number of saturated carbons, not the heteroatom. So as here there are the 2 saturated carbons, so we would name it like dihydro. But then we also have to specify the position of these saturated carbons. So in this lieu, we would start the numbering from heteroatom. Heteroatom would be given number 1 in every case, and then we will move to that direction that is even closer to the saturated position. Like for example, here this side or this direction is closer to this saturated carbon, but if we move along this direction, then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So along this direction, the saturated position comes at the 6th position, so it would not be followed from this direction. Rather, the saturated position is closer to the heteroatom along this direction, so we will move from this direction, that is 1, 2, 3. So the next is no more saturated carbon. So as there are only these 2 carbons that are saturated ones, so we will use the numbering system as 2, 3 dihydro, and as this is the 7-membered ring that contains nitrogen, so its name is azepine. That has been taken from the previous video lecture and that has been explained very well. So its complete name would become 2, 3 dihydroazepine, and in this case this is like 1, as always starting from the heteroatom, then 2, 3 and 4. Here along this side, the 4th carbon is saturated one, and along this direction 1, 2, 3 and 4. So along both of these directions, the saturated carbon is at equal number. So in such cases, we may give the numbering system from either side. So both are okay, but in the case if there is a substituent over here, then definitely we will give the preference to this position because it is saturated one and also contains a substituent. But if there is no substituent, then we will always give priority to the saturated carbon. Or even if here there is a substituent, then we will not consider this substituent, rather we will give the preference to this saturated carbon. So these substituents would not be given any priority. So our system is like this. So we may say that it is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it is saturated one at 4th and 5th position. So between two numbers would be separated from each other in the form of this comma, and then there would be a dash, and then 4,5 dihydro, as this is the 7-membered ring with nitrogen and this is the unsaturated one, so its name would be azepine. So the complete name is 4,5-dihydroazepine. And in this case, the heteroatom would be given number 1. Then here along this side, this 2 position is the saturated one, but along this side 1, 2, 3 and 4, this 4th one is the saturated carbon. So this route would not be followed, rather we will give the numbering from this direction, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is saturated at 2 and 5 positions. So it is 2, 5 dihydroazepine. And here one thing more, that we not mention this saturated heteroatom in the name of this compound. So here there are some examples that you may practice to write down their names. So as we start from this compound, as you know that the parent compound is, if you ignore this substituent, then the parent compound would be oxygen containing 3-membered ring, and the parent name of this oxygen containing 3-membered ring is, and this is the saturated one, so its name is oxyrane. So now start the numbering here, and if you recall the rule that we had said that if the both positions are the saturated ones, then you may start the numbering from either side, but in the case of absence of any substituent. In the case of presence of a substituent and both positions are the saturated ones, then the preference would be given to that saturated position that contains a substituent as well. So we will not give the numbering from this direction, here 2, if we give it 2 then it would be wrong. So we will start from this direction, that is 2, and here this carbon is 3. So at 2 position there is a substituent, that is 3 carbons atom, 1, 2 and 3. So it is 2-propyl oxyrane. So this is the complete name of this heterocycle, that is 2-propyl oxyrane. And now this is the 5-membered sulfur containing heterocycle. So it is given number 1, as the heteroatom would always be given number 1 position. Then we move towards, as here this position is just saturated one, but this position is saturated as well as contains a substituent, so it would be preferred. This is 2, 3, 4 and then 5. So its name would be 2-bromo. Then the substituent, this is bromo and this is ethyl, so these would be written alphabetically. Here that would be 2-bromo dash, then ethyl group is attached at 4th position, 4-ethyl, that is thiolane. because this is sulfur containing 5-membered saturated system, so its name is thiolane. And for this compound, as this is 1, so now both of these positions are saturated ones and both of these positions contain substituents. So now how can we prefer any one position? Then you would depend upon the atomic weight of this substituent. So the bromine has a higher atomic weight and this methyl group has a lower value of the atomic weight as compared to bromine. So this bromine containing position would be given priority. And if the molecular weights are the same, then you would prefer the electronegativity value. The substituent having a higher value of the electronegativity would be given priority. And so according to this numbering, we would write its name like, and as here this is the bromo starting from B and this is methyl starting from N. So alphabetically bromo would come first, that is 2-bromo, and then 3-methyl, as this is the nitrogen containing ring and the saturated system, so it would be aziridine. This is 2-bromo, 3-methyl aziridine. So now let's come to this example. So we start the numbering from this heteroatom, that is 1. So along this side 2, 3 and 4, this is the only saturated position, and this is 1, 2, 3 and 4. This contains substituted as well. This is the saturated one and also contains a substituent, that is methyl. So this direction would give the priority. So its name would become 1-ethyl 4-methyl, as this is the nitrogen containing 7-membered unsaturated system. So, and also in this case there is 1 hydrogen also here at 4th position and there are 2 hydrogens at 5th position. So that means these 2 positions are saturated ones. So we may write down here 4,5 dihydro that is azepine. So its complete name is this one. So now we move towards this example. So here this heteroatom is given number 1, as along this side 2, 3 and 4. This is the 4th one is the saturated one and here it is the 2nd position is the saturated one. So we will give the numbering from this direction 4 and 5. So its complete name is 1-ethyl 5-methyl, as these methyl and ethyl have been written alphabetically. You will not consider their positions, but you will only see the names of these substituents alphabetically. So now these 2, 3, 4 and 5th positions are the saturated one. So here you will write down 4, 5 tetrahydro azepine. So this is the complete name of it. So thank you very much for watching the video. Please subscribe my channel and press bell icon and keep watching the video lectures to solve more examples. So thank you very much and Allah Hafiz.